Lopez wants it away.
And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2. Matto behind the net. Sweeps it in front. He's gone! Matto! Stefan Matto! And the Rangers have one more hell of a time, baby! But it's Mount Vancouver! Anthony for three. Puts it in! Next by one with 8.2 remaining!
Joe Namath, number 12, has been the one big sidelight. He's come down here and he says the Jets are going to win. In fact, he doesn't even predict it. He says, I guarantee a Jet victory.
His first at-bat of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone has hit a home run. The Yankees go to the World Series.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
That is right, 4:01 p.m. Welcome to WHPC Sports Talk. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Anthony Deus, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blane. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Nobody asked me, but I'm doing good.
Well, you didn't give us the chance to ask.
How you doing?
Let's be fair. I'm doing all right.
Mets are up right now.
Could have had a sweep, but you know what? We'll take it.
Shut up. I can't wait
Just
to talk.
shut up.
Can't wait to talk about the New York Yankees and really the Mets, too. They're playing right now. They're up 4-0 in the bottom of the eighth on the Marlins. So when that game ends, hopefully relatively soon, we will talk about that. And we are going to start with the New York Yankees, though, because they're the talk of baseball. And, listening to other sports talk radio stations over the weekend in the past few, days or so, I'd say the last week, as the Mets were winning games, it's really frustrated me. The Mets are 20 games over 500 right now before the ending of this game. And, it's almost like the Mets are treated literally, like as we joke, like the little brother in town. And meanwhile, they are 20 games over 500. They're the best team in the National League, the better league by a very wide margin. But the Yankees are off to an historic start, and we are going to talk about them because they deserve to be talked about. Now, yesterday, obviously, is not a day that Yankee fans are happy with, and you have every right to be upset with an 8-3 blown lead, in the seventh inning, with a bullpen that you expect to be completely locked down with how they've pitched this season. But they weren't yesterday, and a grand slam and a 3-run shot leads to a 10-9 loss to the Blue Jays, who salvaged the last game of the series.
I think I'm more upset because I'm kind of greedy. I want it to be more than an 11-game lead.
You know what, though?
I want a 20-game lead.
Hold on one second. And you have every right to think that, right? You have every right to want to win that game. Now, if they lost, a good game, 3-2 or whatever, it was like, all right, the offense didn't have it.
Exactly.
You're fine. It's okay. But I'm not going to get on you for being a greedy fan today. I'm not going to get on you for being, typical Yankees fan. They blew an 8-3 lead in the seventh inning of a game that you should have won to sweep a series versus a team that, in my opinion, is your most formidable opponent in your division. You should win that game.
You absolutely should.
And you did not. So take out the fact that they're the best team in the league, that they're off to one of the greatest starts in the history of baseball through however many games they've played already. Take all that out. You blew an 8-3 lead on the road on a 9-game winning streak. You should be upset with that loss yesterday.
I am upset. I don't understand why Miguel Castro would hang a slider with the bases loaded. And I kind of
did it on purpose?
No, I don't. It was an interesting pitch, selection there. Ooh. But, I am upset, and I should be, one bright spot from that is even the Yankees scratched and clawed their way to one-run game at the end with Rizzo with the solo shot home run. But I am a little upset because it's like you had another sweep in the books, you blew it. And, with the way the season has gone, you can't be too upset. I mean, you're the best team in baseball by far, but it sucks because you want to increase that lead.
Yes, and you're on a difficult stretch. Like we talked about last Monday, they had the Rays coming to town, and then you were going to Toronto, and now you're in Tampa for 3, and then this weekend you got, the Astros for 4. we talked about what the Yankees had to do to really show, okay, this isn't a fluke just beating bad teams. And none of us really thought that was the case. Me and Ross had this discussion. We thought this was a great team, and they would do whatever they had to do against these better teams. And they've done that. They're 5-1 so far against the Rays and now the Blue Jays. But that's the kind of loss that could spiral, right? You don't want to see those kind of losses. I'm not saying the Yankees are going to go into a tailspin here.
No, but it's not ideal for you to go to the next series on the road in Tampa Bay going off a loss like that.
And now you've got a fantastic pitching matchup tonight. Shane McClanahan, who arguably is the AL Cy Young Award winner to date, and your boy Garrett Cole looking for another big-time start.
I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, so proud of him. After his good outing against Tampa. So, again, against Tampa, he's going to have to show what he is. And, not to talk about the Rays or anything, but, I did watch, a little bit of that series, the first one in New York. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Rays, I mean, you said it, Ross, and they were playing better. The record, there were 9 games, 10 games over. They are not the same team.
No.
Offensively, usually they're not great, right? They're not a fantastic offensive team.
Last year they were.
They hit a lot of home runs. They're not doing anything this season.
Yeah, I mean, they struggled even against the Orioles. They definitely struggled. Yeah. I mean, it's not a good look for the Rays. And look, they, losing Austin Meadows hurt them. I mean, I don't understand that trade.
It was head scratching.
Does anybody know still why they did that?
I don't get that. It's one of the worst trades.
You know how the media was saying the Yankees are trying to outray the Rays at certain points?
Yeah. The Rays trying to outray the Rays.
Yeah. I think that's what that move was.
Yeah,
that was letting the numbers get ahead of what the logic was.
But I'll say this, Meadows has not played, incredibly well.
Sure, but maybe it's the environment change. I mean, Detroit, it was supposed to be this team that was supposed to be scrappy and in the wild card contention, and they failed expectations in that sense.
They may be one of the worst offensive teams I've seen in my life.
They are rebuilding, but you bring in A.J. Hinch, Javi Baez, you would expect it to be a little boost to where the rebuild is, and it's not there.
Well, Javi Baez has been just
horrendous.
I think out of every qualified hitter this season, he's the worst. He's dead last. OPS plus, OPS.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been that bad this season.
He's batting.
And Mets fans wanted this guy back.
Mets fans wanted him back.
Mets fans are still walking around with his jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
we
still
saw that
shocking.
at the game we went to last week. Mets fans had Javi Baez jerseys on.
It's pretty embarrassing. It is. And whatever. I just was not a fan of him.
Yeah.
But Jordan Romano looked pretty good yesterday. He comes in and gets the 5-out save.
You got Rizzo out in the last out there.
That was such an intense last inning there.
Yeah.
Hicks gets the hit. You got runners on the corners now. And Rizzo, who had a terrible month of May, was hitting home runs, especially. He had a great start to the season. Terrible month of May, but was just so bad. So now has just been so much better. And his numbers this season, I mean, he's got, over an 830 OPS. I mean,
it's a good fit.
Arguably, looking at the numbers, could be an all-star at first base.
Reserve.
Starting?
Reserve.
Maybe. I mean,
Vlad's getting hot.
Starting, yeah.
That's the thing. You have to worry about Guerrero, but
Ty France has been very good for them.
I mean, I could definitely see Rizzo coming off the bench. I could see Trevino coming off the bench too.
Of course, you could see Trevino off the bench.
Hey, that's my guy. That's our guy.
Listen, I like Jose Trevino, but the guy that you wouldn't pitch to over the weekend.
He's
Alejandro
the starter
Kirk.
for the All-Star game.
He's the starter.
Trevino is definitely an all-star reserve. In my opinion.
There aren't many great catchers in the American
depth at
League.
catcher this year in the AL is not there.
Salvador Perez is having a terrible year too.
There aren't many good teams in the American League, though, and this is something I do want to talk about. I'm not trying to minimize what the Yankees have done, because obviously they've had such a fantastic start to the season. But let's just ask the question. Let's have fun. Do you think the Yankees do this if they're in the National League? Are they off to a 49-17 start in the National League this season? Be honest with me, because the National League is much better than the American League.
I don't know if they have the exact record. I'd say they're definitely above 500.
They're in first place. First place. I have no doubt about that. If they're in the National League East, they're probably 20 games over 500, kind of like the Mets are.
And I want to get to a point later, but what is the litmus test for this team? Because it was supposed to be the Blue Jays this upcoming series.
Could be the Astros.
Right. It could. Let's just say they win the series against the Astros, right?
Yep.
And I'm not trying to inflate my ego about the Yankees, but I'm just saying, when is the point where we go, okay, they're very good? Is it against when they play the Cardinals down the road, if it's after the Astros? Or is the Astros
Cardinals
like a benchmark?
aren't, they're good. They're not the Astros good.
I'm saying that this is their test right now. And they're proving to be the best team right now in baseball. But you're always going to ask that question. They do play in the lesser league. That question will be asked. And there's no, and I said this last week, there's nothing wrong with that, because what they've done so far against the Rays at home and now the Blue Jays on the road, and we'll see this week now against the Rays on the road facing one of their better pitchers, and then over the weekend, a team that can really pitch in the Astros, a 4-game set at home. That's going to be a great test. But if the Astros walk into Yankee Stadium and take 3 out of 4, that I'm not going to push a panic button. I'm not going to say the Yankees are bad. I'm just going to say, hey, what's this? It's almost like it's a question mark. You know, what was this? You get have a bad weekend, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, and I think it's evident to a lot of baseball fans that the AL has a lot of teams that don't want to spend money, that don't increase the way the team plays. I mean, you have the Orioles, they refuse to spend money.
Oakland.
The Rays, as analytically sharp as they are, they don't spend money. The A's don't spend money. Well, look at the Angels. They spend money, but their analytics department isn't there.
They have they spend the worst kind of money you possibly can.
The AL Central is a complete mess. That's not going to be solved out for another 2 years.
And let's ask this question. And I wrote this down on the topic sheet today. I want to talk about the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball, and 2 of them are right in the American League. 2 teams that we thought were going to be really, really good this season. One, obviously,
is it my World Series pick?
The White Sox?
They've been bad.
The White Sox have been bad. They've dealt with injury. That's one of those teams. And the other team is the Seattle Mariners, who people thought were going to be a wild card team.
I was very high on them.
A team that won 90 games last season. So, right there, 2 teams in the American League that were thought to be major players are under 500 to date. So, that just shows you what the American League is like. And on top of it, the Red Sox, who have played a lot better recently, they're still not great. You have like we talked about, the Rays, they're not fantastic either.
Yeah,
they're good, but
they're
I
not.
wouldn't call them disappointing, though.
They're not disappointing, but they're not as great as we thought.
Yes, that's true.
But I think you could make the argument with the Rays, though, that they were I don't want to say lucky, but they've been very, they made a lot of trades over the last number of years. Remember, they traded Blake Snell away. They made a lot of trades, and they've worked out for them. They really have. They've actually worked out for them. The problem, though, is I think you're starting to see that luck starting to run out a little bit. And, look, the Rays are that team that they're not the same pitching that they used to be. The offense isn't as clutch as they were. They're not the same. I mean,
I'd argue
it was gonna happen eventually to them at some point.
I want to check something out, because their starting pitching has been unbelievable for the past few years, like you just mentioned, and they always find ways to find great starting pitching, whether they're adding veteran players and they develop them, or just guys from the farm system, or trades that they make. They always find, their team ERA is 3.15, fourth in baseball, behind the Yankees, Dodgers, and Astros. So their pitching is obviously their strength, no doubt about it.
The offense has costed them a lot of games, and that's been a big thing. Obviously, you lose Austin Meadows, that's going to affect things, and guys have probably had some down years. I mean, maybe Brandon Lau's had a down year. Also, they lost, I don't think this is a huge loss, but they lost Joey Wendell. I mean, they lost him to the Marlins, actually.
He was a fine player for them, utility guy, hit, close to 300.
They lost some pieces. I mean, that's part of it, and that was their identity. I mean, Wendell, those guys, Brett Phillips.
Guys we'd never heard of that just produced for them.
And they don't have those guys, and that's probably why they're cooling off. Look, Kevin Cash is a very good manager. I think he's very good. But, you can only do so much. And, at some point, you're going to cool off at some point. And they have.
Right. And again, like we said, I wouldn't call them a disappointment. I just, I'm surprised.
Okay.
I'm surprised they're not as great. The Blue Jays, they've been pretty good to date. Their offense is starting to get it going. Their pitching hasn't been where we thought it would be. They lost Ryu for the season. But they looked like for a little bit they were getting it going.
And look at Kikuchi. Kikuchi was supposed to be better than what he is. I know he's your 5 guy.
He's supposed to be your 5 guy.
But you expect a lot more out of him.
But now he's thrown into a role where he's not the 5 guy. He's thrown into a role now where he, is bumped up to the 3. And that's not good. That's not where you want him.
It's similar to Chris Bassett with the injuries to DeGrom and Scherzer.
Yeah, but you're not moved up as far.
That's true.
And Kikuchi, who is not, last season he got off to a very good start, struggled toward the end of 2021, and now is obviously playing for the Blue Jays. Just, it's not ideal.
Mike, I kind of reminded yesterday I want to give credit where credit is due. And a guy that at the beginning of the season, I was killing over the radio. Gleyber Torres has been very good as of recently, and I'm ready to put out an apology to Gleyber Torres.
You should have put out an apology.
I should have. It should have been done a while ago.
Yes.
He's been playing very good. Very good.
I called him a blind squirrel.
I did.
Honestly, I wanted him gone.
Right, and if you look at the beginning of the
months
season,
ago.
he was playing tragic. I mean, the way he was playing at the beginning of the season wasn't great.
But everybody was playing tragic.
I'm ready for the apology.
Mr. Torres, I'm very sorry. I don't know if you should be playing second all the time because you have DJ LeMahieu.
What kind of apology is
but
this?
DJ can play third.
Oh my God!
And
He's
you know
been good
what?
this year.
You should be in the lineup whether you're a DH or second base.
13 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's batting .267 with a .524 slugging and an .838 OPS. He's 39% better than any other player with a .139 OPS plus. Yeah, he's been pretty good, and you may be able to make a case for him to start at second base.
Really? Because I was thinking, another reserve.
You can make the case.
How many All-Stars do the Yankees have?
They have a lot of fringe All-Stars.
Yeah.
You want to go through the Yankee All-Stars right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 1,
Judge.
Number 2, Clay Holmes.
Yeah.
An All-Star.
Nestor
Cortez is an All-Star.
Garrett Cole will somehow get in.
Yes.
Do you think Cole gets in?
Yes, I do, because of his name.
Let me ask you this. If Cole gets in, that means every guy in that rotation should get in.
No, but it's
Cole's
voting.
got the pedigree. That's the thing.
So
voting
no
recognition.
Severino.
Pitchers aren't voted on, though.
They aren't?
No.
Not by the fans. They're voted on by the selected by the players. No, whatever.
Even with the coaches, I still think coaches. I still think he gets in.
Cole, Cortez. Do you think the lesser names are held off? Do you think Montgomery's in?
I don't think Montgomery's
not in. Tyone has a shot.
Tyone has a shot.
If this was voted on based on just statistics and just guys who have performed, then all 5 of them I think would be in, or at least the 4 of them, excluding Cole. I agree that Cole will get in, a couple of them won't. Also, the Yankees are going to be upset with just having one of those pitchers in that game. I don't think they do that to a team where they're going to say, you know what, we're going to take 5 guys from your team and have them in the All-Star game.
For position players, I think Rizzo. You can make the argument.
Rizzo will get in.
Rizzo may be able to get in.
Torres as a reserve.
Torres could get in as a reserve. Other than Altuve, I don't see another guy at second base.
How about Stanton? Do you think he has a shot? Or
No, not enough time.
Yeah.
I don't think time's an issue. I just think there's going to be so many Yankees in the All-Star game that they're going to go other ways in the outfield. I mean, Kyle Tucker is having a fantastic year. George Springer's having a very good year.
Outfield is loaded this year.
Trout. So those are the 3 guys I'd say in the outfield. He could be a DH too.
I mean, listen, we saw the Royals and the Cubs.
Oh my God!
Addison Russell starting in shortstop.
I mean, we could have another scenario. I don't think that's the right way to go about things.
Listen, I'm not going to lie.
Fans aren't like that.
I voted every day for my guys, and
no, I did too. I voted Rizzo first base too.
I'm being honest.
I've been fully on the Trevino train. Just been voting him.
The guys that I've been putting in every single time, I put Alonso over Goldschmidt, which should not happen.
Agreed.
I put McNeil in, which I think absolutely should happen. McNeil should start at second base this season. He did leave the game today with a hamstring tightness, so
scoring on a wild pitch.
Hopefully he's okay there. He's had some issues like this. He's cramped up, things like that. So hopefully it's just one of those day-to-day kind of things.
He plays the game hard. That's what can lead to injury. I mean, look at Nimmo. He plays the game hard. Sometimes he gets hurt. It happens.
But his legs, that you've seen them, over the past few weeks now.
Yeah.
They've tried to give McNeil off days when they can, and they haven't done it in a week now. So it's not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, if
anything was to flare up, Buck was going to get him out of that game.
Yeah,
and something flared up, and Guillorme came in. Who else for the Yankees?
No other relievers, you think, right? The King,
No.
Okay.
Because you're going to have, guys, starters get in. A reliever that should get in is
Clay Holmes,
100%
no doubt.
Clay Holmes. He broke Mariano's record for a scoreless streak.
That's crazy.
It's a team of destiny.
And by the way, can I ask you this question now? Go
ahead.
This is a good question. Back to the Yankees for a second. So Chappie's coming back soon.
No.
Chappie is coming back. There's no doubt about it. He's making a rehab assignment, an appearance this week, I think. So let me ask you this there, Anthony. You like Aaron Boone's comments the other day?
Let me just put it this way. It would be an absolute crime if you move Clay Holmes off of that spot. It's an absolute crime.
I agree.
It's I know you're paying Chapman a lot of money, and he's the Cuban Missile, and you have this nice intro for him with the lights go on and off at the stadium, but he should be nowhere touching that closing spot right now. You want to use him, eighth inning guy? Sure, that's fine. You're paying him. But there's no way with Clay Holmes on the streak he has right now that you could justify moving him out of there. There's no way.
Can I just make a point to you real quick?
Sure, and then I got a point for you as well.
Okay.
Because this bothers me.
Okay, fine. Wow. What I was going to say was the margin of victory the Yankees have over a lot of these opponents, does it matter who's closing the game?
I guess in the sense it doesn't because you have such a tremendous lead, but
they're like killing
if you want to give Holmes rest more, sure you can put him in there.
Yeah, I mean,
it wouldn't be the worst thing.
What I'm thinking
take
is
a few
when you
closes away from him.
I have a weird idea, but when you have a 1-run lead, when you really need a high leverage situation, use Clay Holmes 2 or 3 runs, Chapman, then go to Holmes if you really need him. You know what I mean?
But we've seen these situations now, and the point I'm trying to make is Aaron Boone did say last week that when Chapman comes back, he doesn't feel like he's forced to use Clay Holmes in the ninth. That he can use Clay Holmes in situations like the first 2 guys get on the 8th and we're dealing with, the top of the batting order, you can go to Clay Holmes.
Like we saw with Diaz in L.A.
Exactly. So that may be how Aaron Boone uses him, but that would leave open possibly the 9th inning for a guy like Chapman.
I'll put it, if you're going to do that, he has to have a very, very short leash. That's the clause. That's the
Chapman
clause
or Holmes?
This contract that you're going to put him back in his closing
So
position.
Chapman.
He's on a very, very short leash.
The Mets
I can't. The only thing you can justify putting Chapman back in the 9th is just his contract. I mean,
you can't though. See, that's not the baseball move. So
It's not.
You can't say you justify it. That's not justified.
But it's the how move.
That's not a justified move. So don't say, oh, well, because of his contract. No, if you care about winning baseball games, you're going to use these guys as necessary. Now, in any scenario, do you want to use Clay Holmes in a situation where it's the most high leverage in the game? I am for that. I am totally okay with that. If Clay Holmes has to come into a game in the 8th inning, 2 guys on, nobody out, top of the order, up 1 or tie game, that's the highest leverage situation of the game. Totally good. You bring him in there. That's your best relief pitcher. But don't be doing that because Chapman's got to get the 9th.
Right, and I have an idea. Maybe we could send this to Boone. Maybe we could just do this.
Right.
Aaron Boone, if you're listening.
Aaron Boone, if you're listening, how about you just try Chapman out the 8th and 7th? Don't throw him into the fire immediately. You shouldn't. You should see how he does in low leverage situations, or maybe a little more than low leverage situations.
Yeah.
yeah, give him the.
Don't throw him into the fire because that's only going to make things worse. He might get a little flustered, and you'll be back to where you were, where he's blowing games.
Yeah, I think he should just be a designated 8th inning pitcher.
Second closer.
Yeah,
It's good to have 2 closers.
That's fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yankees had 3 at one point.
516-572-7440 is the number to join. You want to talk about the Yankees, their closer situation? Do you want to talk about the loss yesterday? Is the sky falling, Yankee
The sky
fans?
isn't falling, but I got to call out. I got to call out somebody in this room again for being.
What do you want?
Petty. We have Facebook Live here at WHPC.
Oh, you can call out my shirt?
903 WHPC
You're gonna call out
on
my
Facebook.
shirt?
Yes.
Has nothing to do with you.
It's because the Yankees lost.
No, it's not.
Why are you wearing, for the people at home, he's wearing a 2004 World Series Boston Red Sox championship
That
shirt.
did not cross my mind once, I swear to God.
I actually happen to like it. It's a great color blue.
Thank you.
I do like the Red Sox. I think it's a cool vintage shirt.
Thank you.
But let's take the attention off him now and look at me. I got a beautiful haircut. I've got
No, because he does this a lot. He'll wear
I
Red
swear
Sox
to God,
stuff.
this did not have anything to do with the Yankees. I swear to you, it didn't.
Can I say
I
this?
like the shirt.
Can I say this?
Yes.
He's a Yankee hater, okay?
He is.
And
it's a little embarrassing at some times.
Shut up.
And I've claimed that I am I'm not a Yankee hater. I don't root against them.
Okay.
I've come to the point where I want them to lose every single game.
Wow. Yes!
That's hurtful.
I'm on the
Yes!
dark side of bad Met fan at this point. I am sick and tired of it, man. Sick and tired of it.
Do you expect the media in New York to... both teams are good. Do you really expect them to put more of a focus on the Mets than the Yankees?
When both teams are good, no.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, then you can't be upset at that.
But
If the Yankees are bad, they'll still get more attention because they're losing.
I don't know about that.
That's
Well,
true.
if the Mets are winning, the Mets can take the town. I have no doubt in my mind. You could.
The Yankees got to be pretty bad for that.
There was a situation, in 2015, 2016, where the Yankees were good enough to make the playoffs, but weren't that great, where the Mets were the talk, So, yeah, I think it's possible that the Mets could take the town. You're probably right. The Yankees can't be too bad. The Yankees have to be pretty mediocre for that to happen because you're right. You have all those Yankee fans that would just be calling, crying, complaining. They would be the talk.
Yep.
But if the Yankees are mediocre and the Mets are really good, yes, but the Yankees are obviously not mediocre this year. And I don't expect the Mets to get the coverage that the Yankees do, but I do expect a little bit more respect for the Mets.
That's fine, but I can't see Met fans just going up here like, why aren't they talking about us? Well, the Yankees, the best team in baseball.
The Mets are the best team in the National League.
Right, but there's a team that's best in baseball over the best team in your league.
Look at the competition. That's all I'm going to say.
But that doesn't matter, though.
Why doesn't it matter? You're beating lesser teams.
Hey, let's just get. Listen, a month and a week away from the Subway Series. I can't wait. I'm very excited. And this brings
I will
me
be
into
there for game 1, I think.
This brings me into my next discussion because the Met game is not over yet.
All right. Juan Lopez is in the game.
They're up 6 runs. Who cares?
All 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. Can I, Mr. Epler? Can you get a bullpen here?
Stop.
This is Ross just
Before I
starting.
vomit, can you get a bullpen?
This is Ross just starting.
He walked the guy on 4 pitches in a 6-0 game.
He hasn't been up in the major leagues in a month.
I don't care. You don't walk a guy on 4 pitches.
Okay, well, hopefully
Mike, what were you going to bring
Look
up?
at Buck. He's so pissed.
Yankee lineup's also out if you want.
Well, let's hear the Yankee lineup.
Sorry, but
What's
Leading
the puzzle
off-
like today?
It's not bad. Leading off, playing third, DJ LeMahieu. Center field, Aaron Judge. First base, Anthony Rizzo. Right field, Giancarlo Stanton. Gleyber Torres at second. Donaldson, the DH. Hickson left. Trevino, catcher. And Marwin Gonzalez at short.
Donaldson, being the guy that he is, gets hit by a pitch yesterday.
Then hits a home run.
And then absolutely pimps a home run like only he can.
Good for him. I don't like him, but good for him on that one.
I do like those, but when it comes from a guy like Josh Donaldson, I'm just like, you know what, Donaldson, why do you have to be that way?
It's one thing like if Pete does that, if Pete gets hit all the time. Like if Pete did that as next that hit a home run, I'd be cheering. Not because he's a Met, because he's a likable guy.
No, of course, and obviously Yankee fans will love that. I'm okay. I just dislike Josh Donaldson to an extreme.
It's a hard guy to root for.
He's got issues.
All right, we'll go back to the Mets. We'll end with the Mets today. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Michael Merlo. I'm joined by Anthony Deus, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blane. 516-572-7440 is the number to join. We're going to talk about Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets right now.
By the way, can I just say about the Brooklyn Nets for a second? I know they made the playoffs this year. They are one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NBA, and it's not even close.
Yeah, it's them in LA, like the Lakers.
They really are. I mean, the Lakers at least have the hardware. I mean, the Nets just don't have.
That's true.
The Nets really don't have anything. I mean, they had 2 finals in 05-06. That's it. And with the big 3 for 16 games, it was nothing really came out of it. And look, I do like Sean Marks, but everything other than that, it's not good.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Nets here because there is a big-time story with the Nets this morning because Kyrie Irving and the Nets are at an impasse. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you listen, no.
Oh.
If you listen to Sean Marks's outgoing press conference, a month ago or so, he was very strong when talking about Kyrie Irving, how he was upset with Kyrie Irving. And this is no surprise that the Nets and Kyrie Irving are having issues. So Kyrie Irving can opt into a contract. He has to do it by June 29th. That's the opt-in. He has a player option for $36.9 million for the 2022-2023 season. Okay? Now, they're, I guess, trying to work out a contract extension on top of this. I don't think he'll just sign, go and opt into this contract. He's going to want a long-term extension. But either way, this is not good for the Nets. And I'll say this. If the Nets let him go because he opts out, right? Let's just say he hits the market. The Nets can't sign anybody. They're over the cap. So The only guy they can have in free agency is Kyrie Irving. Now, this is where it gets tricky. You can trade Kyrie Irving. He could opt in and do whatever you have to do,
Like
sign the contract, sign and trade. Bang, you trade him to 3 of the potential suitors.
Oh, don't do
The
this.
Los Angeles Lakers, the Los Angeles Clippers,
And
the New York Knicks are mentioned by Shams as one of the 3 suitors.
I'm good. No, I'm good. We don't need it.
I will pass.
No, it's. Do you know what?
Go ahead.
We haven't had a player like in Kyrie since Clyde Frazier.
You may have never had
Patrick
more of a
Ewing.
talented
You got
player.
Michael Merlo on that? Hall of Fame
Melo-
level player.
Melo was really good. He's not prime Kyrie Irving.
He wasn't even in his
Kyrie
prime with the
Irving.
Knicks. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but it's too much of a headache. It's too much of a headache. It's just not what we're building right now.
What
I
are you?
mean-
Please enlighten me on what the Knicks are building right now.
Not
What are the
overpaying for
What
Kyrie
are the
Irving.
Knicks building right now?
They're building like a Jenga tower that if one thing goes wrong, it all comes toppling down.
I mean, okay, hypothetically, what would the trade be for Kyrie Irving if we're going to trade with the Nets?
It quickly has to be in there. Has to be.
I wouldn't.
That's a no for me then.
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
God! Please, for the love
Hold
of
on,
God!
Mike,
No, but
The Knicks
if it
don't
was-
know. The
hold
Knicks
on.
don't know a talented player if it's smacked them in the face.
hold on.
And you're going to say no to Kyrie Irving because
if
you
it was-
give up
if-
Emmanuel quickly.
If the trade was quickly for Kyrie straight up, I would say 10 times out of 10.
No, they're
yes.
going to want to pick.
Obviously, they're going to want a lot more.
That's my point.
They're going to want Julius Randle. They're going to want
Well, he can
Emmanuel.
go.
Well, no, they
I'll be
wouldn't
fine
want
with
Randall.
trading.
Come on.
They'll
Randall
want
can go.
Randall's going to have to go.
The
Fournier's
salary,
going to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Fournier can go too.
Hold
That's
on.
fine.
see, my problem is you never know with the vaccine mandates in New York. They can change.
Oh boy.
They can.
They can
yes.
change, and that you could end up with another situation where during the wintertime where we're back to an impasse where we have to. Kyrie can't play home games. We could be at that situation again. I would say it's highly unlikely, but you never know. Now, however, I would love to see Kyrie and Laker yellow.
I would love
I
that.
would
Him,
love to
LeBron.
see-
Westbrook would be in Westbrook back with Durant then. Think about that.
I would love to see the complete dysfunction over there.
By the way,
Imagine
we saw-
Westbrook
one
and
second.
Durant reuniting.
We saw the Nets be very stingy when it came to trading James Harden. Now,
Yeah.
they wanted players. They obviously didn't get guys like Maxey or things like that
Ben Simmons.
in the trade. But they were very stingy on certain guys they wanted to get back in that trade. The Nets will not make a trade with Russell Westbrook in it. There's no way.
Well then, what are the Lakers going to do? Why would they acquire Kyrie if Westbrook doesn't go?
I think
They
that's-
would have to get rid of Westbrook in a
another
different way.
I guess.
And,
a three-way
and
trade or something. I don't
the
know.
only way I make that trade if I am the Nets to the Lakers is if Anthony Davis is in
Yeah.
that. And by the
Wow.
way, I don't think that LeBron would not sign off on that. I think LeBron would go for it.
You think
Don't you?
LeBron would trade for Kyrie?
I think LeBron would trade
I think-
AD for Kyrie today. Yeah.
I think so too.
Ooh, I don't agree with
I
that.
think so too because you look at the injury concerns and you
Does
know.
LA have the same vaccine mandate crap?
I don't know.
I don't.
No, they don't.
But let me just say this: LeBron has been on Twitter saying, you know, let's give Kyrie another shot, stuff like that. So I mean, it's definitely a possibility. What I find interesting is the Clippers, because Steve Ballmer will do anything to get a championship.
I could see that.
Now,
How would
hold
that
on
work?
1 second.
Go ahead.
So, according to the article from Shams, the Lakers and the Clippers would have to get rid of anywhere from $29 million to $45.8 million.
Ooh, Westbrook
Okay.
has to go back to Brooklyn then, and they can trade him somewhere else then.
Why again, AD would go.
I don't think AD would. I don't think they would do AD for Kyrie Irving. I don't think they would do that.
Hold on 1 second. Let's ask this question.
Okay.
Okay, because there have been many instances now in the last 2 years where LeBron James has been very upset with Anthony Davis because LeBron, who went to Los Angeles and basically got that trade going so that LeBron did not have to be the number one option on the team, has had to be the number one option on the team since AD's gotten there. So clearly, LeBron James is upset with Anthony Davis. And those comments that he made about not touching a basketball since April 5th?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Man, that's
You
awful.
think LeBron is going to be happy with that? Oh, my God. I think LeBron would sign off on a trade and get Anthony Davis's lazy ass out of Los Angeles in a heartbeat.
I mean, by the way, do you think the Knicks would be in on any of these trades? Anthony Davis, you think the Knicks would even be in on that?
Well, I mean, the Knicks don't have Kyrie Irving to give up for him, so no.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I know there's rumors out there about Kyrie and being a Knick. There was rumors about that before he became a Brooklyn Net.
Yes.
I would not get Kyrie. I know he's a great player on the court, but I'm sorry, he only plays half the games. He's not.
That's even without the vaccine mandate garbage.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't show up.
You're opening up a can of worms that you're probably not going to be able to close. There's a lot that comes with Kyrie.
Yeah.
Listen, in all seriousness, if I was the Knicks, I'm not in a situation where I'm close to winning. So so if I was a superstar away, I would say, you know what, it is worth the risk to bring out Kyrie Irving in here.
They're not a superstar away.
But they're not a superstar away, and they need to figure it out by getting other superstars here in New York. But that's what they have to do. A superstar that's not like Kyrie, a guy that you can trust and build around for a very long time.
Like Donovan Mitchell.
Or Jaden Ivey.
No chance at him.
Who the hell is Jaden Ivey?
He's in the draft.
In the draft.
The one message I could have for the Knicks is get a point guard. Can you finally get a freaking point guard in here? I mean, they haven't had a point guard since 1885.
Yeah.
Get a freaking point guard.
1885.
They haven't had a point guard in years.
Since Mark Jackson.
It's pretty embarrassing that they have not had one. So, yeah, again, you brought up the Clippers. Anthony, what would they have to do? Would Paul George be out of there?
Probably.
Who would get out of there? They do have other big contracts. Would they be able to afford a Kyrie Irving?
Kawhi's not leaving. I know that.
Kawhi's not going to leave.
Paul George would probably be the piece to move.
Yeah.
If out of those two.
He's got the contracts.
And even if you don't, is there enough pieces to where you can clear enough money and satisfy the Brooklyn Nets with pieces?
There aren't a lot of good young pieces. I don't know what picks they have.
I mean, would you? I'd have to assume Reggie Jackson's involved in that trade.
Yes, he's making money. They would most likely
and I think
point guard going back,
and that wouldn't be a bad fit for Brooklyn.
Wait,
Jackson.
I have a question. So the teams that they named, it's just the teams that Kyrie wants to go to?
These are 3 teams right now that would, I guess, they're just interested. I don't know if Kyrie would want to go. These are 3 teams that are interested.
Does he have a no trade clause?
I don't know.
I don't think he does.
Somebody check that. I don't know if he does.
Because if he can decide, it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
No, with him.
So, by the way, I mean Tibbs is still the head coach here.
Oh boy.
That's another
thing. Did you hear this rumor that Kyrie Irving at one point did want the T-Wolves because of Tom Thibodeau?
Wow, that's surprising. That's a little surprising because Tom's a hard coach.
That's incredibly surprising. Kyrie doesn't like to play hard. What does Tom preach?
I don't know if that's true or not, but that could be an interesting situation where if Kyrie Irving, wanted to have a coach like that, he has the opportunity if that's his guy.
I mean, here's the thing about Tom. I don't know how long he's going to last with the New York Knicks. I mean, he can very well easily go. They can go 8-10 the first 18 games, and he could be canned. I hope that's not the case. I hope they actually keep him throughout the year. But he's a good coach. He demands a lot in his players. He's defense. If Kyrie wants to come play for Tom, I don't fully believe that, but if he wants to do it, go right ahead.
If Kyrie Irving was to be traded to the Knicks, and they did get off to a tough start,
Tom's going to be gone.
Tom is not going to be gone, especially if Kyrie Irving, if they trade for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, he's not going to leave.
They are not going to fire Tom Thibodeau. That's one of the main reasons why he came to New York.
After a bad start?
Yeah, I don't think he gets canned.
I'm not too surprised that Kyrie likes Tom Thibodeau because most of his problems are not on the court. He's a hard player on the court. It's just the off-the-court stuff that, he has a problem with. So, I don't know if that actually happens. I don't know if Tom's going to be that hard on him off the court, but he's not known as a player's coach.
The one thing I'll say about Tom, though, is that, the Knicks, Kyrie especially, he's a guy that's known for not playing. Maybe Tom's that guy that, gets him to, play more. And, maybe he needs that little kick in the butt. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's very possible, Tom. That's where Thibodeau's very good. He's a guy that's not, he doesn't take laziness. He's a guy that, expects a lot. And that's the good thing with Tom. And he preaches defense. So
is that the perfect match for Kyrie? I don't know.
I mean, for him, I find it hard to believe where, let's say he doesn't want to be with the Nets. I mean, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, he just woke up tomorrow and I don't want to be with the Nets. I want to leave just like James Harden did.
How do you think Durant feels about all this? Because
he wants to leave.
He's too busy on Twitter getting mad at the Warriors, but,
Yeah.
He's probably. I mean, I'm sure he's like. Why would you want to go to the Knicks?
He's going to
and the
be.
Nets?
He'll be involved in these discussions. There's no way if he was to opt in and there was going to be a trade. There's no way the Nets don't get a superstar back unless Kyrie just opts out and tests the market. There's no way the Nets don't get a superstar back. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk. You're on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Michael Merlo. I've got Anthony Deus, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blane. 516-572-7440. We're talking Mets. They win 6-0 over the Marlins. Take 3 out of 4. That's what you got to do against these bad teams, and that's exactly what they did over the weekend plus Monday. Steve Cohen tweets, solid series against the Marlins. Onward to Houston as the Mets will travel to play the Astros for a 2-game set.
Nice.
Tomorrow night. So I think Trevor Williams goes tomorrow and Carrasco.
Oh, God.
Oh, Trevor Williams.
Oh, you know what? I don't know how I've become a Trevor Williams defender. You know he's got like a 3.38 ERA as a Met.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's not terrible.
He's not terrible. I mean, I
don't trust him in Houston.
I don't trust him in Houston either. Now, I trust him. I don't trust him in Houston, but I will say this: if the Mets actually did something called an opener, I trust him.
Oh, I would never trust the Mets with an opener.
Well, yeah, because the bullpen.
Yeah, you know better than anybody, Ross. The Mets bullpen is not good.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't do it. That's why I'm hampering to Billy Epper. Fix the pen here, but that's why you don't do opener. That's why Williams has to go deep into the game.
Can I ask you a
Doing
question?
at Citi Field right now, they're taking the walls apart.
Can I ask you guys a question?
I don't know.
And the Astros have been, like I said before, very, very good. They are, I think, third in ERA this season. Think, under a 3.15 ERA this season.
Because Verlander's been amazing.
Their whole staff has been amazing. They're 20th in runs scored this year. Their offense has been down, and I've noticed that over the past couple of weeks. Their pitching has carried them big time so far this season. So let's see what happens. This should be a very interesting series against a really good team, the second best team, I think, clearly in the American League, the Houston Astros. So the Mets will go there for 2. Then they will play the Marlins over the weekend for 3, and then back home for the Astros.
I saw this morning on MLB Network, Alex Bregman of the Houston Astros is batting under 200 since May 1st.
Wow. Yeah, listen,
that's cool.
That's
like
crazy.
That. We like that.
We love that.
Bregman's downfall in his career has been rough.
Yeah.
Not good.
He had a lot of promise, and then they cheated. And,
I wonder why
Very
that
full
happened.
of himself, too.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
also be mentioned.
I mean, he was did he win the MVP, or was he...
He won a series MVP or something, like a championship series MVP or something.
He came, I think he was a runner-up one year.
He
for
was,
MVP
yeah, he
in
was.
18 or something like that.
Didn't Trout beat him?
Let's
Trout
see.
beat him.
This won't help me. This is Basketball Reference.
That will not help you.
That will not help me at all. But yeah, so the Mets will play the Astros starting at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Let's talk about this Met win. Not much here. Scored a lot of runs. The big story, I guess, is going to be Jeff McNeil, who left the game with a hamstring injury. We'll find out more, I guess, when Buck speaks, in a few minutes right after the game. But David Peterson was good today and got into a lot of trouble, and he's lucky he wasn't playing a good team because we've seen him get into trouble and try and escape it. That was against the Dodgers a couple of weeks ago, and he wasn't able to escape that trouble when you're playing a very good offensive team. But today was able to get in and out of trouble, went 5 1/3 scoreless, had a lot of strikeouts, and now he's on to the hospital to go watch his wife have a baby because I don't know if you heard about this, but nobody knew if he was going to start today until when he threw the first pitch because his wife was
in labor?
Any minute.
Oh,
so
my God.
This was interesting. And people also thought Jeff McNeil came out of the game because of that as well. Because
Lugo's out the same thing.
Lugo's wife's having a baby. McNeil's wife is close, so he's going to be gone at some point to go watch his wife have a baby. And Peterson, I'm guessing, is going to the next day or two. So,
wow.
And the Mets had to get the pitcher limit went down to whatever it was. 13 today. So Lugo's gone on paternity leave. So Dom
who's
Smith
back?
is up.
There you go.
And I don't agree with this decision. I would have left Dom Smith
to rot.
down.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
And there's still a chance he goes back down whenever they have to bring Lugo back or whatever, and another pitcher will go down. But there's a guy that we actually talked about a couple weeks ago in Daniel Polka.
Yeah.
Polka. Daniel Polka. Big power hitting right fielder, left fielder, first baseman, who's paid his dues in AAA now for the Mets the past couple of years and has an 885 OPS and 15 home runs this year. This is a guy that should be getting a chance over Dom Smith.
Well, do you think it's the reason they're bringing Dom Smith up is to see where the trade value is?
No.
There's just no future for him on the Mets. I know you can make the argument where if you send him down, that even boosts Dom Smith's trade value if he does well in AAA.
Exactly.
I liked him.
But do you think there's some hesitation to where you're not ready to part ways with him, although you should?
Why would you bring him up to check his trade value when you're about to play the Houston Astros?
Right.
That's
well,
the question.
that's the question. And the Polka kid.
Yeah.
I got it right. I got Polka right.
He's like 29 though. That's the kid part's not right.
That the kid part isn't right, but Polka wouldn't. It's just weird. Something's off here because if you're going to bring up a backup first baseman, Polka's the answer.
Yeah.
Which is why it leads me to say something about the trade value here.
And one of the reasons why Dom went to AAA was because Nick Plummer had that home run against the Phillies. I guess that was the beginning of June?
Yeah.
Or late May.
It was a big home run.
And then he had another great game against the Nationals and kind of parlayed that into staying on this team.
Now he's just dreadful.
Now he's 0 for his last 20, I think, and he's going to go back down to AAA at some point. And Polka seems like the right guy to replace him. Not Khalil Lee. I don't want to see Khalil Lee up here. He strikes out way too much. I don't want that. Let's get another power bat. Let's see what we got off the bench. And I think that makes the most sense for this team right now. Not Dom Smith, not Nick Plummer, not Khalil Lee. Plummer back down, Dom back down, Polka back up. Let's see if the Mets do it. Because there was a rumor this morning that he was coming up. And that might be the case in a couple of days. When Lugo comes back and things like that, and Plummer goes down, this will be the move.
Yeah, I don't like the move of calling Dom Smith back up. I mean, I understand he's a guy that's had a little success in the major leagues. He's had experience, obviously, not good experience. But it has to be because either one, it's a trade. Because that's the only thing I could look at because he doesn't have much of a future here. I think he's going to get dealt at the deadline. And, unfortunately, they obviously don't have a lot of faith in other guys. I mean, they do have Mark Vientos that maybe that he can come up at some point.
And I believe he will be up at some point.
Yeah, and, maybe they trade J.E. Davis at the deadline. Maybe that's the opening for Mark Vientos. I mean, that's...
Maybe Vientos is the guy that goes.
Yeah, that's true.
He could be a piece,
Another prospect you're going to let go?
Hey, Ross.
Another one?
How many have they let go in the Steve Cohen era besides Armstrong?
Pure Armstrong?
Hold on.
How has he been?
Yeah, Armstrong.
What does this team need?
They need relief pitching badly.
It's going to cost a lot. Vientos might be a guy that goes.
I don't know if you want to do it for reliever.
Yeah, relievers cost a lot.
If you're not trading Ronnie Mauricio, Brett Beatty, or Alvarez, I'm fine with it.
All right.
Anybody.
Depends on the reliever, but there's a guy I have in mind, actually. I was thinking about this while I was working the other day.
You finally have a name.
I have a name that I really want.
Okay.
Ready for the name?
Yep.
All right.
David Bednar. On the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, yes.
This guy's been unbelievable this season. He got an 8-out save the other day.
Wow.
8-out save.
Wow.
2 2/3. He's been really good for this team. And the Pirates, who aren't the greatest team,
they're scrappy.
Not as bad as people thought. He's getting saves.
Yeah.
I will say this: the two teams that nobody watches much or pays attention to, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Baltimore Orioles. They're not. Both teams are not terrible.
The Orioles bullpen can pitch,
but yes, we've talked about the Orioles bullpen too this season. They have had a lot of guys.
Yeah.
In that bullpen, I think what's his name? Hold on, I'm going to find it right now. Jorge Lopez, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Big, lengthy kid. He's been fantastic for them. He's probably going to be their only All-Star or one of their All-Stars because I think Austin Hayes is having a good year for them.
How crazy is that? If you look at that roster and try to pick out the All-Stars preseason, you couldn't.
The Orioles are 2 years away from being really annoying to the Yankees.
They're annoying now. I mean,
they're annoying now, but really annoying.
David Bednar, 1.34 ERA, 33 innings pitched, 46 strikeouts, 3-1. He's got 11 saves this season.
The guy, that's not bad. That's pretty good. I mean, the guy, that's pretty good. And the guy that I was also thinking about, he's actually on the Cubs.
David Robertson.
David Robertson. That's the guy that I want because he's a player that, Anthony, I'm sure you know him a lot with the Yankees.
Oh, yeah.
And
know him well.
Yeah. He was good for the Yankees.
He was very good. I miss him. Sometimes you go back to the glory days,
Yeah.
Scott Barlow on the Royals, 1.55 ERA and 29 innings pitched. 27 strikeouts, 8 saves this season. So there are guys out there that the Mets and the Yankees possibly could go out there and add. Holmes has 11 saves, so he wasn't closing all season. I guess that makes sense.
What are the odds the Angels fall more out of it and they trade Iglesias?
You want Iglesias?
I would take him.
4.07 ERA in 24 innings.
I think he needs to change the scenery.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, think about the situation he's in right now.
Yeah, I just wouldn't give up so much for him.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up the farm for him, but
I wouldn't. But there are going to be guys. Listen, if you can get them, they're going to need help. In the bullpen. I agree, and not only a guy late, that could close games if need be. A legit setup guy. They need other guys too. They're going to get May back, which will help to the depth of this bullpen.
Oh no, Trevor May.
But they need a long man, I believe. I mean, I do think McGill. I don't think it would not shock me if McGill didn't start another game for this season. For this game. Because I think, hopefully, knock on wood, that Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom are back. You can ease McGill back into this thing, and either way, I think he's an arm out of the bullpen for the postseason if they, are lucky enough to get there. I think that's where McGill makes the most sense for this team.
In terms of postseason play, I totally agree with you. But for the rest of the regular season, I would start him, but not every 5 days.
Right, and if something were to happen, God forbid another injury, then McGill's the guy that steps in 100%. Exactly. But in a fully healthy, this rotation, I mean, you got obviously Jake, Max, Carrasco, Walker, Bassett.
That's 5.
Peterson, Williams, McGill. Wow. That's 8 guys right there. So, Thomas Zepecki.
No.
But,
Mike, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, J.D. Davis got plunked on the hand again today.
Sure.
When does it stop with the Mets getting hit?
I don't know.
I don't think it's a Mets thing. I think it's a baseball thing.
It wasn't intentional, but it's too much of a coincidence. I'm not saying it's done on purpose, but it's ridiculous how often this happens.
I don't know.
And I know it's J.D. Davis. I know he's not exactly the fan favorite or that much of an integral part of this team.
He isn't like a target like Pete Alonso is.
But I hate to go back there. Why the hell is this still happening?
I don't know if I told the story on the air, but when I was in D.C., I was sitting in front.
Opening weekend?
Second night. I sat in really nice seats. Free food, free everything. Free drink, too. Free drink.
Of course, he's got to get pampered when he goes to the ballpark. Go ahead.
So I was sitting in these seats, and this guy, a couple of guys in suits, everything. I guess they just got back from work or something, and they're at the game.
FBI guys?
I don't know. No, not FBI guys. And they tapped me on the shoulder, and one of the guys goes, "Why do you think this happens?" It was the 4th time, too, in 2 games that the Mets had gotten hit. And I said, why do you think this happens, honestly? Do you think they're throwing at them? And I said, absolutely not. I don't think they're throwing at the Mets. I think these kids are so bad, they have no control. All they care about is throwing hard. They don't care about location. And that's just not a Nationals problem. That's just not a, relievers being young. It's just guys don't care about location. They care about throwing as hard as possible. And on top of it, I think it's clear that so many guys were using sticky stuff and Major League Baseball deems illegal substances now, that without these illegal substances, it's tough for them to grip the ball. Just quick, Showalter says at this point, day-to-day on Jeff McNeil.
All right. Not good.
That you think IL now wouldn't stay today?
What?
You think IL now?
I didn't say that. I'm not thinking IL.
You said not good.
Why would you say not good? You don't have to overreact. It's just he's day to day. That's it.
Yeah, you said it before. Jeff McNeil has a history of injuries like this. That's why I'm a little worried.
We'll see. Hopefully,
it was a totally new thing, and you just cramped up. Okay, fine.
I disagree. If it was a completely new thing, oh my God, he has a hamstring. He's dealt with this all season. Hopefully, they know how to deal with this. In a couple of days, he'll be back up. That's how I think of it.
That's the hope.
I guess I'm just more of an optimist, surprisingly, than you.
Surprising.
But
I have one last reliever, Andrew Chafin. That's the guy.
Chafin. You know what? You know what really makes me upset, and we've talked about this, guys that the Mets could have gotten for the cheap before the season started. A guy like Andrew Chafin, I thought, made perfect sense for this team. They needed a left-handed relief pitcher. I think he was for $7 or $8 million.
Yeah,
I think it was $7. It was cheaper than Loop. So yes, about $7 million to the Tigers or wherever he went.
They'll sell him.
Now you have to give up a prospect when you could have just given up money. That's my problem.
No, I'm sorry, but that's my complaint. That's my main complaint. Not that I don't think they're going to do anything, okay? Because I do think Epler will do something. I do think Steve Cohen will do something, and I have full confidence that they will.
But Epler should be fired because they're 45-24, and they didn't add a couple of other people to the bullpen. Yes,
well,
that has
you
been
just
said.
said it. You just
That has been said.
That has been said on this.
We have it on
show
record.
before.
Yes.
Well, you just took the words right out of my mouth about the whole. Well, now you have to give a prospect for him. That's the main problem that I have.
And of everything that's gone right for this team, through however many games, it's almost 70 games now. Nobody's perfect. No team is perfect. Not even the 49-17 New York Yankees. They are not perfect. So, in a offseason that was difficult, that they made very smart and savvy moves, there was one area of this team where they thought they had more players than they actually did. So I don't know. I'm not going to get on Epler. They will fix it. And I said, they were wrong. They were wrong. I agree with you. They were wrong. It was they should have added more because championship level teams have fantastic bullpens. But I do think they believed that they were going to be able to add.
That's what it is. And look, when you see Buck Showalter, have his head on the bench dugout, that's how you know you need to fix it. I mean,
Yohan Lopez got out of the inning perfectly with no runs.
Good job, Juan.
Okay. So, very quickly, Max Scherzer, if anybody's near the Binghamton area, he will be making a start tomorrow. He'll go about 60 to 70 pitches, and he's way ahead of schedule.
Very good.
And there's a chance he makes his return Sunday against the Marlins.
Nice.
So, it'll be 5.5 weeks on the IL. The Mets said about 6 to 8 weeks for him, so he'd be ahead of schedule. So, that would be nice. Just
good
please,
for him.
For the love of God, no setbacks. If it takes another week, it takes another week. But I trust Scherzer. He always says he knows his body. He knows that, he'll know if he feels something that does not feel right, and he will take it easy. So hopefully Scherzer's smart about it, and the Mets are smart about it. And Jacob deGrom, they don't really give you a timetable, but I'm going to guess early July, mid-July for him, closer toward the All-Star break. But he's progressing nicely, as they keep saying. It's a dream at this point. Mm-hmm. It's a dream. Not a reality, a dream to get them both in the same rotation, and if it happens, it's a dream come true. And hopefully it's for the rest of the season.
If I had to guess when DeGrom comes back, if I had to put money on it, I'd say first game after the All-Star break, he'll start.
Are they home?
I don't know.
If they're home.
I want to be there for that.
If that's what they do. Anthony, you want to talk about a sellout?
Yeah?
I'm checking right now.
Yeah.
Could I give a quick final thought here?
Yes.
Sure.
Mr. Merlo, you called me out for saying, it'd be good if the Rangers... I said that it'd be good if the Rangers... It wouldn't be a bad thing if the Rangers lost in the conference final, right?
Me?
Yeah, you called me out for saying that, right? Yes. It wouldn't be the worst thing.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Lightning are getting absolutely killed by the Colorado Avalanche.
7-0 game 2.
7-0 game 2, so I'm going to stand by what I said. It's not a bad thing that they lost.
Yeah.
Getting embarrassed like that nationally in the Cup final, I'm okay. I could wait a few more years to get back there.
I threw a couple of shackles on the Lightning down 2-0 to win the series.
I'm honestly, I'll be honest, even after, I don't know about the mid afterwards, but a few hours afterwards, I'll say, I really wasn't pissed at the Rangers. I mean, how could you? They had a great season. I wasn't that disappointed. I was kind of like, okay, I see their direction.
Hey, 2 more years.
2 more years, I could see it. Absolutely.
You know what? It's funny, before we go, and then Matt, very quickly, I said to my friend who was a diehard Ranger fan on Saturday night, I go, doesn't it really suck that the Rangers lost? I don't know. It was a fun run, and it's over.
That's how I look at it.
Last thing I will say today, the Mets are home their first game of the All-Star break, 7-10 Friday game against the Padres.
My God, electric.
Buy the tickets now?
Buy the tickets.
Yes.
What's the date? What's the date on that?
Oh, man, I got to get this. It is July... what month? July 22nd.
July 22nd in the black uniforms against the Padres. Could it be Jacob deGrom's return? We'll know that very soon. Thank you for listening to WHPC Sports Talk for Anthony Deus, Matt Leonard, Ross Levine, and Elijah Blane. I'm Michael Merlo here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Have a fantastic rest of the night, everybody.